All right, this is part 3 of the build video for the Trumpeter 1/16 scale T-34 76 model 1943. All the major assembly is complete, except for the road wheels are not attached yet. The reason being is earlier today I kind of test fitted the tracks. So what I discovered is while the instructions call for 72, it comes down to 70. That's 35 of these and 35 of the flat ones. All right. Now I did go ahead and sand these, all that rough cast texture off of these, so they're a little bit more of a realistic. And it took a little bit of time, but I think that is definitely worth it. See if I can't get this hatch to stay. So yeah, so I had to take track shoes out. Even though this idler wheel is adjustable, I had it adjusted like all the way as far out as it would go, and the track just sagged, not in a good way. So I had to shorten it, and unfortunately you can't just take one out. Because of the style of track, you got to do one of each, so that is what it is. The fenders still aren't glued on yet because I need to give them a little bit more attention. I did fill in some of the injector pin marks on the outside here, but the ones that are on the inside, I left. They're going to be almost impossible to see, but these you might be able to see. And as I glued some of the detail parts on, I got to take care of some of that and do a little filling, sanding, and take care of that. And same on the other side. No ejector pins, and then the big deep ones on the other side. And then a little filling and sanding right there should take care of that. So it's pretty, I mean, it's built. One sad thing that happened though is the whole machine gun barrel right here did break off. I have it, so once everything's all said and done, then I will glue that back on, give it a little bit of paint, and it should be good. So as far as some what I'll call out of the box detailing, I guess, that I did was I did the weld seams here on the turret. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. Right there. Added that. The engine access hatch from my spare kit had a handle that fit there. It was indexed. All you had to do was drill it, glue it in. So this handle is not part of the kit. It actually came from the 1942 kit. So it came from what I'll call my spare kit. And then on the back, right here on the transmission access hatch, I added the bolts. If you don't have these bolts, and I honestly couldn't tell you what size they weren't in their original packaging, is if you wanted to have this open, you can just go ahead and shave the bolt heads off and drill a hole. And that way, yeah, you won't have bolts, but they could be like laying on the ground or something. And there you go. Because that would look kind of funny with it open and it's flat here and there's bolts on the other side. That wouldn't look right. So that was kind of workaround. Another workaround I discovered, or that I thought of, is with these handrails, right? If you look at them, right? If you were to break one of these, like let's say it came broken in the kit or whatever, you can take these little mounts, right? Go ahead and cut the plastic handle out, drill a hole, and then run you a piece of brass rod through there. All right, you could do that as a fix if one of these were to break. So even on the turret. So that's something to think about if that should happen to you. Not saying that it will, but it's a potential solution. Now, when it came to gluing the upper hull to the lower hull, like I said, this kit's probably what, 22, 23 years old. And even though I've probably had it for about 10, it's always been in a climate controlled environment. But as with anything, there was a little bit of warpage I had to work around. When I was dry fitting this, then I would start here at the front, the back would be off a little bit. And none of the sides, were cleanly mating to the upper. So luckily, and there's not a very good way to clamp this, because it's angled. There's no real flat areas. Is you got to glue. I had to glue from the front, then I went to the back, glued this down, right? And even before you do any of that, make sure you leave this piece off, because this is kind of fragile with PE, right? And I was still able to kind of get a clamp off of this hub up to here to bring this in nice and tight. And then once I had the front and the rear glued together, then I just attacked the sides. I was able to do one side, then I was able to do the other side. So it took a couple days doing it that way, but it's all done. Now with turret markings, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the slogan that comes in the kit, right? And then I'm just going to paint like a red star somewhere around this area here above the slogan. That way it's a little bit different. Now as far as stowage goes, this thing's going to be kind of clean. There's isn't going to be a whole lot. I deleted the extra fuel cans here on the back, and it's just going to be the track. All right, and I'm laying the track down like this with the tread side up, because if I was to do it this way, you'll see where it's cut out. So I was like, that's not going to be good. So I'm just going to lay them in with the tread side up. Probably not the best way to do it, but that's what I'm going with. The only other thing that I really did different is right here on the turret. All right, let me zoom in. Right there, kind of like on the gun mantlet, right through here, is I took my scribing tool and I kind of made that line a little bit deeper. It was kind of shallow, didn't look right, because this is a separate piece, right? So just kind of, made that a little bit better there. And then I did the same thing on the end of the barrel, right here, right there at that little end. Just to give it a little bit of crisp detail, because it was kind of soft there. I think the turret texturing came out pretty nice. I did do another iteration of it, and I think this is going to look a lot better than what the kit was, because it just looked too uniformed. So I think this here has definitely got a lot better cast texture to it. I think the welds are really going to make it pop right there too. So you can kind of tell that already a lot of the hull is already painted. And what I used, and I've never used this before by MiG, right? It's Russian green FBO. And I just used this, just shook it up, and I used it straight out of the bottle. Just poured it right into the paint cup on the brush, on the airbrush. And it works pretty good. I've never used much MiG stuff other than some of their weathering stuff, you know, their washes and some of their pigments and stuff. So this actually worked pretty good, though I'm not going to use it for the final color. I'm going to use Mr. Color FBO. Since I have their other colors, I can use this for post shading, you know, add a little yellow or add a little white to it, you know, whatever, for post shading. So that's what I'm going to use with this on this tank. So luckily I had my spare kit for the handle. Everything else is box stock on this. The nothing, there's not an, you know, I didn't use any detail, PE detail sets or anything like that. Everything is just box stock on this, which was kind of a lot of my intent with this build. I hadn't done an interior before, so I was kind of in new territory, so to say. But I think it's going to I think it's going to come out really good. Now that I got the tank, all the major work done and out of the way, I think this is going to be a pretty good kit, you know, at the when it comes to the end. Like where, well, I like to call where the science part is building it. Now I'm coming into the art part of it with the painting and the weathering. So I think I have the science part down, the building and all that. Now I'm still working on the art part of it, getting that final, you know, look of the tank right. And I'm kind of glad that I went with, you know, deleting the antenna and deleting some of the other details. I think I mean, you just saw so many of these in reference photos that are just kind of like very plain Jane. Didn't have a lot of stowage on them. So kind of going with that look. That early Russian T-34 from the factory to the battlefield. So I think my plan is keeping the weathering somewhat light. It's not going to be a heavily weathered. I mean, I think most tanks in World War II combat lifespan was measured in weeks, if not days. So it's not like they would get rusty or anything like that. They get in combat, get knocked out, boom, that was the end of their life. So kind of going with that. I honestly can't think of anything more about the assembly. Like when I do the final review, I've got notes taken, but it'll go more in depth on all that stuff later. But for just as a quick, you know, update to the build process, I think this thing's coming along pretty good. I'm really liking what I have right now, and It's just a matter of going to do a little pre-shading on this, and then spray the color and do all the final nitinoid detailing, and I think this thing will be done. My goal is to have it done before Thanksgiving. It is deer season right now. My bow hunt, I have 2 tags. I filled one already. I gotta fill the second one, but hopefully that'll go smooth. And between that and getting this done, I'm still hoping for Thanksgiving, before Thanksgiving, for this to be complete. And then the next tank I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Hobby Boss 1/16 scale Panzer 38T. That's the next one I'm going to do. I was already kind of looking at the instructions, and there's does not have as many open hatches as the T-34 does. So I don't know how much of the interior I'm actually really going to do, because you won't be able to see it. I may just build it and just do an exterior kind of a build, which on the other hand brings me up to another idea I was thinking about. Was if I build another one of these, it won't be the interior, it'll be the 1942 one, and it'll just be closed hatches, just static, exterior build. But what comes with that is, if you look here, you can see there's some detail in the underneath that mesh. I guess you could close those screens right there and take care of that, but you may have to do a little bit of engine painting there. That'd be the only place. But like I said, you could close those vents. But yeah, if I was to do another one, I think I would completely close it. I do have a 1/16 Panzer IV by Trumpeter. I think it's the late one, the J. That's full interior. That one may be coming up on the build queue pretty soon too. I don't know. We'll have to see. But anyways, that's it so far. Most of the heavy lifting's already done. Getting ready for priming and that first coat of paint, and start the weathering process on it. I'll keep the road wheels off so I can weather in behind there on the road arms and all that. Take the track off, start weathering the track, doing all that, and hopefully get this thing wrapped up soon before Thanksgiving, so that way I can start the Panzer 38T. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you can, just please give it a like, write a comment down below, and if you think about it, hit the subscribe button for me. Thanks.